Hi, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't already know me, I'm Ava Death Dolly, and today I want to talk about one of my old Hollywood stories. Recently made friends with another really cool trans person. Looks like they're into Lolita and maybe a few other cool other things, but they seem to go back as well. So Ravenstone, this is for you. All right, so the year was 1999. I was working over on Lacey Studios near downtown Los Angeles, and we were filming a small little film called Late Last Night. And it starred Steven Weber, better known from Wings, and he was also in the movie Hamburger Hill and a few other notable films. And Emilio Estevez, who, me having grown up as a punk rocker, I was a real big fan of at the time because, it's like he played Otto in Repo Man, and, it was really great because not only was he played it, but, he was wearing almost the same outfit. He had that same blue prom jacket, that guys wore in the 1970s. It was kind of ridiculous looking, but he's wearing it with a white t-shirt and slacks, and he was like dressed the same way he was in Repo Man. It was just so bizarre. And it was cool that night. It was a small crew and small cast, and we had I was working with Dee Detroit of UXA. She's a friend of mine at the time, and I hope she still is. I haven't seen her in many years, but it was just really fucking cool. I always love hanging out with Dee Detroit. She's just so fucking cool. I mean, all of my San Francisco peeps, Della from Bright Wig, your dog, and Julian Burrs. I love you. Okay. Anyway, so going back to the movie, back to the film. So here we were. As we usually happens on movie sets, you're standing around, you're doing nothing for a long hours of time. I used to call it the money making game called loafing for dollars, because the longer you stay, the more they pay, as we always used to say. Or as I'd say to my Italian friend Sergio, remember Sergio? Sergio, yeah, you from Milan. Okay, loafing for lira. Okay, so the longer you stay, the more they pay, right? But oftentimes, especially on a small film, you get to talk with the stars. And so, though I didn't talk about Hamburger Hill, which I really would have liked to have because, I'm the child of a Vietnam veteran. And, Steven Weber, at the time, he was famous for not only, he was just starting on Wings at the time, but he was better known for Hamburger Hill. But we didn't talk about the A Shaw Valley at that time. Didn't know anybody who participated in that at the time. Now I do. Well, yeah, I do know some people from the 101st that were there. Well, anyway, long story short, we're just having a little conversation, and I'm all death rocked out. And at that time, I still had blonde hair. I was bleaching my hair blonde. I did that for a few years, and it was just really, really bad for my hair. So eventually, I had to, turn it back to red, which I'm happy with red because blonde was just so hard to maintain. And at that time, it was popular to wear, horns in your head. And I had these deer antler horns that a friend of mine got from the Renaissance Fair. And it was just kind of a popular thing to do among our crowd. And at least around the original death rock people and, some of the early goth people, we did that. And I went around everywhere with those horns in my head. And, I could seal it, it's tied by a little string. So you can't see the string most of the time if your hair's done well. And so I got these realistic looking horns coming out of my head. I'm talking with Steven Weber. I can't remember what we were talking about at the time. And Emilio, it's like he walks by a couple times and, Steven's not saying anything. He stops for a second. And, me and Dee Dee, we're like cracking up because all we can think of is Repo Man, right? So he's walking by and looking at us guys strangely. We're like, wasn't that Otto? And he just stops like, what the fuck? And it seemed like Emilio was kind of fucked up on something. I have no idea if he was or not, but he was acting very strange. And the more strange he got, the more Steven was just cracking up, and we're just cracking up along with him. So finally, he sees I'm talking with Steven Weber, and we're having this really fun conversation, and Steven's just cracking up, we're just bantering, it's like him, me, and Dee Detroit. And then Emilio decides he's going to walk right up to me, and he comes up very strangely, and he's looking, and he's pointing at my head, and he's going, those are horns. I go, yeah, those are horns. Yeah, they're coming out of your head. Uh-huh. Those are real horns. They're coming out of your head. And I go, hey, look, buddy. I said, bullfighting season is in hiatus right now. I got baby calves to feed, and I got to make a living just like you. So, I mean, if you've got a problem with this, I don't know what to tell you. And he's just walking away. Steven is just like busting, trying to hold his laughter in, and Dee Dee's just cracking up like, oh, shit, you got him. And he's just like, horns. Out their head. He just keeps walking away and keeps stopping and saying, horns. Coming out of there. Oh man, the looks on his face was just so goddamn priceless. It was fun. It was funny as hell. And well, we didn't ever got to really have a talk with Emilio, but it's okay. I had some fun at his expense, I suppose. But that's how it is sometimes. You get to talk with people on movie sets. Sometimes you get to have good conversations. Sometimes people make it so you want to fuck with them. I can't help myself. I was a child of a notorious prankster, and so it seemed natural to me. I mean, he made it too easy. I mean, he's coming up to me, and he's just like tripping so goddamn hard. He still doesn't get, we're dropping all these Repo Man references, and he's just like oblivious. Anyway, that's my Hollywood story about it. And again, this movie was filmed in 1999 at Lacey Studios here in Los Angeles. And again, it starred with Steven Weber. And again, Steven Weber, Emilio Estevez. It was called Late Last Night. And again, this Dee Detroit, by chance you came across this, hey, I miss you, okay? That was a pretty fun night, okay? So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Tune in next time. And hey, if you like my stories or you like my channel, please like and subscribe to my videos. Hey, it's been really getting me some traction, and I could sure appreciate it, all right? Love you all. Take care, and stay tuned. We'll have more stories.